Okay, then I'm gonna welcome everyone to our November 2nd, 2021 regular council meeting. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. I'll ask everyone to please turn your cell phones off so they don't disturb the meeting or place them on vibrate. And I'll remind council of the declaration of pecuniary interest if it arises. You can declare it now, or if an item pops up, declare it then. We have minutes here from a regular council meeting, October 19th.
Oh, hey, we're on here. Don't know what that, but you certainly have to go.
That's not, we'll have to ask the delegations to keep your, muted. Okay, so we do have minutes here from the October 19th meeting. I'll look for a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Ellis, seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux. All in favor? And that's carried. All right, then, we do have a couple of delegations today. So I'll start off with our first delegation is Jenna Trimble, and it's with regards to the vaccine mandate. Welcome, Jenna.
Hey guys,
Hi.
how's
So-
everybody doing?
Oh, as well as can be expected. So
That's good.
yeah, so we did receive your letter last, just before the last meeting, so it was too late to get you on the agenda. So that's why you're back today.
That's all good. I just wanted to just address some stuff because I know you guys were making the decision whether you were going to make it the vaccine mandatory for the staff here in Havelock. And I just kind of wanted to give you some information based upon my experience with my partner, Rob, who works for the city of Peterborough, and what I've discovered. And it's kind of a little bit nuts, I think, but I guess that's just my opinion. But anyways, yeah, so what I figured out was he is allowed to do the rapid testing. So at this time, we're not going to get the vaccine. We're going to wait. We want to see what some long-term effects will look like. That's our decision. Just to be clear, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just think that this has been rushed, and that's my opinion. But anyways, that's not where I'm going with this. I just want to make sure that the rapid tests are available to people in our community, because from what I've discovered, only Shoppers is facilitating these rapid tests. And with the way the city did it, was they've written right in their policy that only physicians or pharmacists can sign off on these rapid tests. So as a small business owner myself, I was able to get free rapid test kits from Dave Smith's office in Peterborough, which is awesome. I'm glad he was able to do that for people. However, those tests are not allowed to be used for Rob or anyone, because obviously I'm not a pharmacist or a physician. So the deeper I've dug into this, the more I've discovered that like even our pharmacies in town here aren't allowed to facilitate these rapid tests. So for whatever reason, Shoppers has gained complete access to this, and they're the only ones that are able to provide these tests, and at a $40 charge per test. So Rob has to do these tests twice a week. That's written into the city policy. And so I just feel like it's kind of just not fair, and to have such an ability to be able to provide these to people and then just not allow access to them, or to have it written into a policy that just, you know, totally makes them unable to get it. I also contacted his doctor recently too, because she was hard to get a hold of, and she was completely unaware of this. They don't have any tests there. They don't have access to them, and they have zero initiative to try and get access to them. So I'm just kind of wondering why Shoppers gets to make all the money out of this. And, you know, it's obviously a bad situation for everyone. Why do they get to profit from all this? And basically what I'm requesting from you guys is to somehow maybe make it possible for our town, our local workers who are going to have to face these same situation, to make it available to them at Shoppers, or sorry, at the Guardian or Farm Save, so that they can at least have access to it, not have to travel to Peterborough and provide more income to Shoppers. I just think that makes it totally inaccessible to them. And I know that in our community, there are other people that feel the same way as I do. So it'd be nice if we could provide that to them somehow. And I know Dave Smith, he has that program. So whether, I don't know how that would have to be manipulated. for it to work for us, but I'm hoping we can do something like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Yes, Jenna, and like the last 20 months have been a lot of work and a lot of there's been things changing daily, and with some of the stuff that you're talking about, the city has their own policies. It's unfortunate
Yep.
we don't all have the same policy, but we've been
Yep.
trying to do the best we can with the information that we have. And
Yep.
as far as shoppers being the selection for the city, I think Bob can speak to it better, but it's we do have to, as a municipality, it's not just something that we can do like a rapid test, and it is something that we are told that has to be done, and you have to have some sort of like a captain or a lead, like a doctor or physician, and to do the test. So as far as shoppers being the choice of the city, that might be just, it's not because they're so big, it's probably a convenience thing.
Well, I don't know. I've spoke to, I spoke to Steve at the Farmer Save, and he was saying that that's what the provincial government has designated, that they've written a contract with shoppers, and that's why he can't get access to them. So I thought that was really unfair for the rural communities because, you know, not everybody has a shoppers in their town or
That's right.
Loblaws or whatever, right? Like they just don't. So
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to open up to council if they have any questions for you, but Bob, do you have anything you can add to this, or help Jen out with it?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, I would just like to further to your earlier comments, just like to confirm that every municipality writes their own policy. So with respect to the Shoppers Drug Mart or how the city of Peterborough chooses to enact their testing, that's really a question for the city of Peterborough.
for sure. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm more considering, I would just want you guys to be aware that this is going to be an issue here and that people are going to need this. So I want to know what we are doing to ensure that our town and our people get access to it easily. That's all. So I understand that that's a policy for the city of Peterborough, but I want to know what our policy plans are going to be and before they get made, because it's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult to go back and change the policy than to be proactive about it and make sure it's written in the beginning. Right?
So Bob, you can finish up there, and then if council has any questions, we'll.
So through you, Mayor Martin, we as a staff, as you know, later on in our agenda, the mandatory vaccination policy is back for reconsideration. A testing option or testing options have been included. Staff has been in discussion with local pharmacies, and as of the writing of the report, I didn't have any new information, but yesterday I did receive some information, and it looks like we will be able to work with our partner at Guardian Pharmacy.
Awesome.
But those details are still being worked out. There is a cost involved. They will supervise the test with a nurse on staff and verify results via email. So it's all done very officially. It is there, and there is a cost involved for the supervision of the test and the purchase of it. As I say, those discussions are still ongoing. We haven't locked in all those details.
Cool.
But it looks like it'll be approximately $58 per test.
So it's more money.
It includes the supervision by the nurse.
So I'm getting free tests from Dave Smith, the MPP, free tests. So I have 50 of them that I got for free. And they're gonna charge $58 for a test that I got for free.
No, through you,
Oh.
Mayor Martin, just to clarify, that arrangement is for the township only.
Okay.
That is not an arrangement for the community or other organizations. That's an arrangement that the township is making for township staff.
And the rapid test, is there not a difference between the two tests, Bob? Like the rapid test that some of them aren't being accepted either. So that's some of the details we got to work out.
So like I have them that I got from Dave Smith's office.
Yeah,
and to my knowledge, there are only two different kinds and they're pretty identical. The only difference was the branding of it. So one manufacturer to the next. So basically Pfizer or Minder or whatever, same deal, just two different manufacturers. And the ones I got, there's actually a 5-minute video on the Chamber of Commerce for Peterborough that you watch to teach you how to administer the test. As a small business owner, I get to do that. So that's my qualifications, I guess. And that's what the Peterborough Health that's what their recommendations are. They have no recommendations of making a pharmacy or a physician administer the test. That the test can be administered by a person who has been trained, and basically you watch the 5-minute video, you read about it, and then you are trained to administer the test.
Okay, all right, like I say, like we're one of the last minutes, well, we are the last municipality that hasn't come up with a mandate yet. We're hoping to deal with it later on. Everything that you
Yeah.
said here, Jenna, like, you know, we've been dealing with it. We're trying to do the right thing here. Hopefully,
Yeah.
nothing will be perfect, but hopefully we can come up with something that's gonna work for everyone.
Okay.
So I will open it up. Does council have any questions for Jenna or comments? And before we move on, go ahead, Councillor Webb, and then Councillor Ellis.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank her for her presentation today and let her know there's other people in the community with questions and reservations, just like you, Jenna. I'm kind of confused as to why people are paying for these tests at all. Because
That's same as me.
I'm looking at the government website, the provincial government website, that says that the provincial and PSP provides free rapid antigen test kits to high-risk communities, organizations, and workplaces. The program is available to all organizations that are allowed to be open under current public health measures and also require people to be physically present on site. Any organization mandated to test through a provincial vaccine policy is also eligible. So I'm unclear as to why we wouldn't be eligible or other people wouldn't be eligible
Okay,
for said test.
you're freezing up a little bit unless it's my computer, Art, but
Yeah, no, it's been bad this
Yeah.
morning.
yeah, so those are some of the details we still have to work out. Like I say, it's changing daily. Some of the rules that we have as a municipality are different. A lot of them tests are being distributed through the Chamber of Commerce in Peterborough. But I don't know if they're being distributed to municipalities. Did you get any of them, Bob?
Through you, Mayor Martin, council has not mandated a vaccination policy at this point. So no, we have not requested any of the rapid antigen tests, but we can do so if council directs.
Okay. All right then. So Larry, you had a question?
Just briefly, I just wanted to, I echo Councillor Webb's comments with Jenna. Thanks for bringing your concerns forward. Staff and council are working diligently to put things in place. And hopefully in the near future, through our policy and what CAO Bob is trying to organize through the pharmacy, that we're going to have something in place there. But it's not quick and easy, but give you my reassurance that we're trying to work forward. The comments that Councillor Hart has stated about the free vaccine, we need to follow up on that as well.
Okay. All right then. Is there any other questions or comments to Jenna? Seeing none. Thank you, Jenna. Like I say, we're just going to do the best we can. Hopefully we can come up with something that works for everyone. It has been a challenge, but we do have your letter and we have reviewed it. So thank you for coming out today.
Yep. I don't know, you said guardian, but I did speak with Steve at the PharmaSave and he was willing to help out in any way he could. So just to keep him on your docket as well, if you need to yeah, he wants to participate in whatever he can. So
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jenna.
yep, no worries,
All right.
guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank
Have a
Thank
great day.
You too.
Thanks.
So I'll look for a motion to receive the delegation. Well, Bob, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Martin, just to clarify, both local pharmacies were contacted.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Bob.
Okay. So I'll look for a motion to receive the delegation. Councillor Pomeroy, Seconder? Deputy Mayor Giroux, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you, Jenna.
Have a good day.
You too. Our next delegation is, there's a couple of delegations within one, but the first one is with Pat Patterson and the Midweek Jammers. And then it moves on to the Peter Johnson with the Snowmobile Club. And this is regards to the Old Town Hall. We're going through the process now of bringing it out to the public of, you know, where we're at with the hall. Unfortunately, there was a lot of bad information out there about the wrecking ball and things like that. This is the start of a process to see where we go with it, and council wanted it brought out to the public for consultation. And I guess this is the start of it. The Midweek Jammers have been using the hall for several years now. And Pat, are you there? I don't know whether Lori is, are you going to be working that for the Jammers? Okay, well, okay. I think we got something happening now. There we go. All right then, Pat. Okay, Pat, we can see it all there. And can you hear us, Pat? Oh,
Hello?
hello? You're
Can
gonna have
you hear us? We can't hear you.
okay, you're gonna have to turn the volume up or something.
What the heck is going on?
Technology at its finest.
Microphone.
Can you hear us there, Lori?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Great. That's not video.
We can hear you.
Well, that brings the video up.
Unmute.
It's in the system.
You are unmuted. Okay. Bit of technical difficulty there, Bob. Go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, perhaps we could move on to the Snowmobile Club. I
Trying.
believe Peter is with us, and we can try and work out those technical difficulties.
Okay, maybe Bianca can mute them for now.
There we go.
Oh,
With
okay, sorry. Okay,
Yep.
Okay, Jim.
okay, you can hear us now?
Yeah.
All right then. Welcome, Pat. I see you have a group with you, and you're welcome to go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, personally, Mr. Mayor and councilors and all of your staff present, we'd like to thank you for this opportunity. And I think, of course, basically, it's about the town hall and the ramp and getting it open. And as I understand it, the council would like us to move to the Line Center. And I guess our question is, Jim, that there's going to be construction there going on, because as I understand it, you're going to be do the new elevator and you're going to have to get a grant. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we wouldn't be able to play in there probably for the rest of the winter? And what we're wondering is there any way that we could fix the ramp and use the town hall until that time, and then we can sit down and make a new discussion?
Yeah, so we do have a grant already, but the construction shouldn't, I don't think it'll be starting this winter. A lot of the planning will be happening over the winter, but as far as construction, it won't be happening over the winter. I'd be amazed at that if it did. So, but no, we did get a grant for the arena, and the intent is to put an addition on and redo the elevator and things like that, but it won't be happening over the winter. So this was just something to help you out for the winter months. I don't know if that helps or not.
Available to us now?
What's that?
That room available to us now?
And that's what we were working out with the Lions and our new agreement with them. Bob, do you have anything on that?
Through you, Mayor Martin, the decision is ultimately council's decision. The room can be available. We're currently in the in process with working out a new arrangement with our friends in the Lions Club. And the arrangement is hopefully expanding the use of that community center to a wider audience.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we're working out the details there right now, but that was the plan of council, that we would try and find you a place to use in the meantime.
Okay, now, Jim, if I don't mind if I call you Jim, Mr. Mayor.
Can you just speak up a little bit more there, Pat? It's really hard to hear.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'm just wondering, I know that going back, as the report that I have here, is that the council allotted $1,500 to fix the ramp. And I'm wondering who came up with the $1,500? I mean, I would think that probably if we matched it, we could easily fix the ramp. I know that the pictures that were done by the last inspector, I have all his report here, and he done a good job. I think he did what the council wanted. But I think that we could probably get it done for, say $3,000 maybe. And if the council would give us the go ahead, we would probably get a certification and maybe with a match, we could go ahead and fix the ramp, and then we could go back and play in the town hall. Because there's a lot of people don't want to go to the arena. And I think you already know that, but they don't want to see the building sold, because it'll be sold to somebody that next thing you know, we'll have more transients in there like we do all over town. So there's a lot of concern. I understand all what the council's up against and the people that are going to be phoning and everything else, but I think that's probably where we stand anyway.
And I totally understand. And so where it's coming from is, as you know, there was a report done way back. I think it was 2008. I don't think that was the first one. There was one done at Amalgamation too. And it was, the hall needed a lot of work. And this council wanted to bring everything out to the front here to try and, take care of things. And this is one of the buildings that we thought it's time to bring it out. Let's see where we're going to go with it. There's a lot more than I've seen things of shingles and mold. There's a lot more issues with the building than that. You've seen the report. The ramp, I guess, was kind of like the final straw. It do you replace it? Where do we go from here? And I guess that's where we'll be getting the input from the public, and that's what council's looking for. And you're the start of it today. We did say that we would try and get all the user groups that have been using it. Jammers were the main tenet of the building over the last several years, and they've been contributing. So that's why we're starting today with you guys, and and see what your thoughts are. The community center is something that council came up with and staff to try and get you a place to get going. Whether that's the permanent thing, I have no idea, but so that's where we're at right now. The ramp is one of the biggest issues right now, because you have to have 2 exits or 2 entrances or whatever. But there's a lot of other things too. So do we throw money at it, continue to throw money at it, or do we look for other alternatives, I guess is where I'm at. But there's a lot of feelings for the town hall both ways. So we're just going to try and once again do the best we can with the information that we get. So
well, Mr. Mayor, the other thing that we look at is there's also a report out there that, and this goes before your time, so all you people that we're talking to here right now did not make the decision, but the Stone Hall and the Town Hall were left out of the rent money on the way back. I think if you already look at the proposal, you'll see that. And what we're wondering is, really, everybody knows that if you buy a piece of property, you buy a house, you've got to put money back into it every year to maintain it. And I don't really believe that there's been the right amount of money put back into the town hall. And it wouldn't be in the shape that it is right today.
Yeah,
No.
so over the last few years, like I think it was shingles, and we did tear off that that thing on the side there that was over the police station, the shelter, the roof there, because the shingles were shot, the whole roof was shot there.
It wasn't, yeah,
And we've
very-
done a lot of little things, but not a lot of major things. Councillor Pomeroy had a comment there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Barry.
through you, Mr. Mayor, and to the committee that's, I can't hear myself. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm, in the future, any meetings like this, could we not have them with, say, in person at the arena, and practice our social distancing, and at least we could hear one another. I'm quite disappointed that I can't pick up everything that Pat's saying. And I would like the whole committee to be able to hear, well, maybe you can hear us, but if we can't hear you, it's not very enlightening.
Yeah, so that's something as council we will be working on here. Now that the rules have changed, we will be able to get back into a little bit more of in-person meetings. We just got to work out the technicalities as far as the video and the all those things. So we'll do the best we can today. If you could just speak up, Pat, or get closer to the microphone, that would help.
Mr. Mayor, would you and the council be in favor at all? Like, I already have a quote from an engineering firm that Jeff Menzies uses, and it's about $2,150. And that's for them to come up and measure and tell us what we need. Now, they will, in the end, supply a cost. And it looks to me that, anyway, if we could get the ramp done, that means that really we could open the building, okay? And then maybe we can work on the mold and this. We have about $17,000 in the bank, and we're setting up a committee here today after this meeting. And I think everybody here is in pretty well in agreement that, we likely put some money in there too, if we could get a match from the council. And go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, and thanks to Pat and the group that are there representing. We're listening. But I guess what I wanted to say, first of all, was, has the committee or any of the delegates that are here today concerning the town hall, the information that council has regarding the studies and the costs for the town hall, has that been made available to the delegates? Because that's the information that people need, and so they can understand the direction that council will have to, or the decision that council will have to make. So that's an important thing, because they need to understand. And I think I would like to say to Pat, because he's a former council member, that the municipality has to understand the liability when a municipality owns a building versus somebody private that owns it, in regards to the liability part of it. And that's where council are in a position here that we have to make a decision, because there's so much more involved, Pat, than just, like you say, shingles, the ramp, mold. That report tells everybody the position that the municipality is in regarding their building, and the liability to open it back up without those things being addressed. So I just wanted to make sure that any of the delegates or anybody that has the concerns, that they have that available to them, so they understand the position that we're in. Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor.
So-
If we put a report in the rail, which you guys sponsor as well, and we all read it, and Ray McCutcheon put a pretty nice thing there, and the numbers that are there, they explain all the differences, the costs and everything else that is needed. And our biggest problem in Havelock, and I think the people that you're going to talk to, is that, and I understand going way back when the CAO made the suggestion that we maybe sell the hotel, the town hall and the stone hall. But our biggest fear is, and we can see it all the way down George Street, people from the city and where else, they buy the building and then they make little tiny rooms in there and we get transients in there. And we sure as hell don't want to have that happen to our town hall. And I think, guys, you must have a hell of a lot more to do on your plate and worry about the town hall. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to have one fight on your head if you decide to do that. That's just me speaking out of my own head.
So,
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Jesse.
yeah, so Deputy Mayor Drow had a comment there, and
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for coming. I guess I'm a little bit confused. So we have the jammers here and we all have, and they're also representing the people that want to save the town hall. Is that correct?
These are all jammers. Mr. Counselor, I'll read you the names off so you know exactly.
I don't need you to read the names off. I just want to clarify. Because if you're talking about, first of all, you talked about fixing the ramp so the jammers could have a place to play. And that's what I was focusing on here this morning. I think it would have to be the township, the municipality that goes out and hires somebody.
That's right.
So to get the thing done. But my question is, I know you want to get into a place to play, but what's going to take the shortest amount of time? Is it going to be getting the ramp built and all that, or getting back up perhaps to use the up above the arena in the Lions Hall? I think that's the shorter route myself. Maybe I'm wrong, but then
Is it available straight away, sir?
I can't hear. So
Sure. Is it available right now?
I'll have to let our CEO answer that question.
Through you, Mayor Martin, it can be available immediately. And that would be a council decision, but yes, we were there last week for a tour and the room can be available.
And there's your answer. So that you're here on two parts, so I'm still not clear.
Your question was, we represent the jammers and the committee to save the town hall. I am here for the jammers. I don't know anything about saving the town hall. I'm just one person.
Okay, thank you.
My particular interest is to see that we can get someplace to play straight away and then deal with whatever we have to deal with in the town hall. The town hall has got a unique feature to it that you may or may not be aware of, and that is that it has special acoustic qualities. And some of the people here are better musicians than I am and can attest to that. We have a piano player here, for example, who said that one of the finest acoustic environments that she's ever played in, and she's played in a lot of places. So I think there's something to that, that the acoustic ability and the environment in that town hall is worth saving. But in the meantime, if we just had a place to play now, we can deal with the other matter in time. That's just my opinion.
Thank you.
so I think that's, so that clears things up as far as right now we're meeting with the jammers, but it sounds like there will be a group gets together to save the town hall. That's not there today. So right now we're focusing on trying to get the jammers a place to play until we can sort this out. And for us, the community center, like the Lions Hall, was probably the quickest turnaround right now until we sort the other out. So so that could happen by the sounds of it within the next week or so. And We just got to iron out some of the details with the Lions, but yeah, so we can make that happen. The town hall, this is just the start of the process to come up with a plan on how we move forward with it. That's a totally separate thing from today, I guess. But it does involve the town hall, and you've said some good things about it as far as the acoustics and things like that. That's good stuff to know. Councillor Ellis, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, I would direct this to the jammers. Our stone hall, if that was available and feasible, would that be suitable to the jammers?
I think it's too small, sir.
Okay, that's answers my question. Thank you.
Mayor Martin,
Yeah.
if I might just ask one more question. The jammers have a container up on the stage in the town hall that house all the speakers and everything. It would be a real hardship to carry them up and down, you know, in the Lang Center, unless maybe we could come up with some place that we could put them in there temporarily, you know, but and just leave them there. I don't know, maybe when you come out of the elevator and go around the corner, maybe in that corner there's someplace. That might be something maybe you could talk about.
Yeah, that'll be some of the stuff we'll have to work out with the Lions here. Like I say, we'll do it as soon as we can. You know, there's been a lot of good information here so far today. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to add. But right now, we're going to do what we can to get things moving and deal with everything that you've talked about here, and you know, and see where it goes in the future here. As far as the ramp and things like that, that's going to be a discussion at council as part of this to see what, because I don't think it's just the ramp to get it open, but that'll be discussion with staff and our building inspector and anybody else involved in that part of it. So let's focus on getting the jammers playing again and see what we can do. And maybe some of you will be on a committee that wants to talk more about the town hall and where it goes. So that's the best I could offer right now. Does any other council have anything to add to this?
Anybody else here? Oh, Mr. Mayor, we have one more.
Yeah, my name is Rick Foster, and I'm involved with the jammers and have been for, I don't know, quite a few years now, 12 years. Anyway, we have over the years spent a fair amount of money on the hall. We put a new floor in, we did some stained glass work, we paid for paint to paint the place. We have done some of the work ourselves, put a railing in to go upstairs. We've got a fair investment in the town hall already. Nobody warned us that there was going to be a day when this was going to happen to us. And for us, that's our home. The town hall is the home for the jammers. And to lose that is not a good thing. The sound, first of all, the sound at the Lions Club is not what it is at the town hall. It's a whole different ballgame there. And it just seems if we have to get out of there and leave it all, it's just not right. And we should have known about this long ago. This shouldn't have happened, that we're coming up with this in October and November of this year, when somebody knew all along that this was going to happen.
I think a lot of people did know, Rick, with all due respect, whenever any money came forward, we were always open that we do have a lot of issues with the building, and we were always hesitant on anything going into the hall until we sort out. Unfortunately, it took a long time to get it to this point here where we're actually talking about it in a little different venue, I guess. So I'm sure a lot more is going to come out here in the future as far as, you know, ideas and things that we can do. But there was anybody that came forward with any monies to offer for chairs or flooring or things like that. We were always open with them to say, like, you know, we don't know where we're going to go with it. I remember hearing it loud and clear when we were talking to them and this was a few years ago, but that, you know, there is a lot of issues with the building and we were hesitant on taking any money, but You have done a lot of improvements there, and I'm sure all that stuff helps, but let's count this as day one to move forward with that, and let's see where it goes. Like I say, there was
I think we will accept your offer of going to the arena, but that's not really where we want to be. I
okay.
mean, sound is not what we want there, and we will go there only because it's the only thing available to us. It's either that or go back to playing in people's basements, which we did for a few years before this. We alternated going to different people's basements. And when we were offered the town hall, it was a pretty good offer. And it just seems so sad that we put $8,000 into a floor in there, and now that we might as well have kept that $8,000 in the bank.
Yeah, well, okay, well, let's see how we can move forward here with this. That's all I can say right now is phone us, talk to us. Social media, like I say, it kind of puts out the wrong message, and it wasn't a well-informed message. Let's talk and let's see what we can do to see where this goes. But right now, I think council's main focus is trying to help you out to get you a place to play. And as far as the town hall, I think we have Peter on here from the Snowmobile Club that wants to talk about what they use it for. And I'm sure there is a few others that use it regularly. And I'm sure they all have a passion for the town hall, but some just need a meeting place, and it doesn't matter if it's town hall or the stone hall or wherever. And you know, we'll see where it goes in the future. But right now, I just look at this as a good start to see where we're going with it and try and help you out. So, okay.
Mr. Mayor, we want to thank you and all the councilors and those involved for taking the time to let us have this Zoom so we can get our feelings out, and we appreciate all your help. Thank you very kindly.
Well, thank you for coming out. I'm not sure if Peter Johnson's here from the Snow. Oh, there you are. Okay, Peter, welcome.
Well, good morning. Thanks very much for offering us the time to speak today. So I do bring you.
Sorry, I just seen Deputy Mayor Drow waving his hand. Is there something you had, Dave?
I just make a motion to receive the delegation from our last delegation, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I was gonna do it all at the end, but that's fine. Moved by Deputy Mayor Drow and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy that we received the delegation of the jammers. All in favor of that? And that's carried. Okay, Peter, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No problem. So again, good morning. I do bring you greetings from the Havelock District Snowmobile Club. I was asked to come and speak on their behalf with respect to the old stone hall, or sorry, the old town hall. So I've just got a few words here. I'll try to be brief. I am Peter Johnston. I'm a VP of the club and have been for about 8 years now. And just a little bit of background, I think we've all spoken before, but Havelock is the oldest club in the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs, over 50 years now of continuous operation. We're continuing to grow. We've got over 400 members now that live and play in HBM, and have close relations with over 50 landowners, which, as you know from previous presentations, are key to our survival. Those are the people that allow us to knit together the trail system that we use every year. You may not know that we were voted by our peers across the province as Club of the Year in 2020. So another feather in the cap for HBM, I'd like to think. So back to the Old Town Hall. We do meet monthly there, or at least we did in the pre-COVID days. Since it's been closed, we went to Zoom meetings, and then more recently, we've started to meet again in person. Without the Old Town Hall, the best we've been able to come up with is an equipment storage unit, a small warehouse on Miles of Memories Road. It's great. It's got heat and light. There's no chairs and there's no washrooms, but we'll just do the best we can. We're kind of used to being cold in this club. But I'd like to just add a few words here on community. And this is where I think the old town hall comes into play. It's always been great to meet there because as I understand from reading the article in the Havelock Rail, that building's over 120 years old. So more than any other building in Havelock, it represents the history of this town and this township, who we are and where we came from. Now, a community is people and places. My family's been here 5 generations. We love it, so it's pretty clear that we're committed to the people. But I think maybe as a community, what we need to look at are the places. You know, what do we have to show for, you know, the last 100 years as, you know, who we are as a people and what we've built in this town. I think we're down to a couple of the older buildings left, the old stone hall and the town hall. And I think we need to look pretty close before we make quick decisions on their future. We know that growth is coming to Eastern Ontario. We're seeing it already. The 407 going to the 115 is opened up a super highway right up into Havelock. And the COVID migration probably has accelerated that process. People are looking for a more rural environment. So we know from real estate prices that there's a lot of interest in this area and things are moving very, very quickly. One of the things that I learned when I was in business was that businesses look for good communities to move to. And they do that because they know that's where the good workers are. They're looking for the young families, good workers that are in good communities. So as we engage in this great competition in Eastern Ontario to attract the best people into our community, you know, we have to look at what we're offering, what we're providing. And as I say, my decision was made a long time ago. But for the people who are looking at what town are they going to go to, what township are they going to go to, are we doing the best we can to put forward who we are, where we came from, and where we're going? So I think this comes back to planning, because these are big, big decisions. I mean, even the Stone Hall is a big decision. It's a lot of money. But it's I'm sure only one part of a much larger plan that we have or we're building or we're working on to ensure that Havelock and HBM is the place where families want to live and where businesses want to come to. So, you know, just a couple of points on that hall. I just heard today news to me that the acoustics are good. You know, I think at this time, it's really the only place in town where, you know, if you want to put on a large presentation or have speeches or entertainment or ceremonies, I mean, it's the only place with high ceilings and the stage where we can offer that kind of capability. And interestingly, in this post-COVID world that we're getting into, the high ceilings and the ability to open windows and let fresh air in, I mean, that town hall may have its problems, and you know, we've got a lot of money that we got to raise to keep it going. But you know, I mean, if it goes away, you know, we would be looking for something like North Kawartha Community Center. I mean, think of them. I have no idea what that costs, but that would be millions and millions and millions, I'm sure. So you know, if we look at $1 million, and I don't know what the number might be, to fix up the old stone hall to offer some capability and facilities and to show off the history of Havelock, you know, that seems like it would be an interesting piece of this big puzzle to ensure that HBM is the place you want to live and the place where businesses want to locate. So that's it for me. I just wanted to give you folks a quick update on the Snowmobile Club and just some of my personal insights on you know, where I think we are as a community. You know, I think it's great. We got a tremendous history here, and it's all about now where are we going in this great competition going forward in the next 2, 5, 10, and 20 years. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you for what you're doing with the Snowmobile Club, keeping that going. But yeah, so a lot of this discussion has come out of when you talk about North Kawartha and their community center. I think one of the things that's brought this out is we did get a grant to redo the arena. One of the things in the plan is a new meeting hall at the arena. Also, the elevator is going to be going to the basement. We're going to get all the details out because a lot of these things the public isn't really aware of. The grant came out this summer that we were accepted, and it's like I say, it's almost $5 million to go into that building. And we have great plans for it that will come out. And one of the things is the meeting room. It'll give us more options. As far as the stone hall, that's never been a part of the discussion as far as getting rid of it. That's you know, as far as I know, that's the stone hall and it's staying there. And I was told that when I first got on council one time that you know, that's something that doesn't get touched. The town hall might be the same thing. Like I said earlier to the group ahead of you, this is the opening of discussions to see where it goes. And you know, you brought up some things here. The jammers brought up some things around acoustics and all of that. And I'm sure there's more out there right now that have their thoughts on it, but be prepared. There's going to be people on the other side to put $1.5 million or $2 million into a building that to let it come up to today's standards of accessibility and things that we have to have in place in the next couple of years. Those are things we have to do just because of being a municipality. The local person might not have to do that, but we have to do it. And we can do that if that's what the people want. We just look at things here as far as being responsible with the tax dollars. And we knew when this came out to the public that this will be a great topic of discussion. And it will probably have both sides. It'll have pros and cons, but that's what it's all about. And hopefully we make the right decision in the end. It's not an easy decision anytime when you're talking about heritage buildings or old buildings or historical, but it is the town hall. So we'll be talking about it here in the future. And I'm sure after even this meeting, at least now the right information is out there as far as you're hearing it firsthand, not hearsay. You know, hopefully we can come up with something here in the near future of where we're going with it. But as far as a meeting hall, I think somebody else suggested the stone hall. It probably would be a good meeting hall for in the interim here for the Snowmobile Club. There is a bit of heat up there. You could probably, and there is lights. So if you talk to the office or to the Women's Institute, I'm sure we can work something out there in the near future. We also have the community center there, and the Lions are more than willing to work with us here. So I'll open it up to council here if they have any questions or comments for you. Is there anything here, guys, that you want to ask Peter? Okay, I'm not seeing. Oh, go ahead, Councillor Ellis.
No questions. I'd just like to thank Peter for his presentation. Lots of thought put into it there, Peter. And I'm sure your friends sitting next to me on the screen, the jammers with Patty Patterson, appreciate your thoughts. And it just makes a municipalities council a lot different or more difficult decision to make, because when you listen to those things, you automatically want to say, hey, let's get our wallet out and save this thing. And it can be done, but it's going to have to take a lot of people to get involved through fundraising and whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to comment on your thoughts that was presented today there, Peter. Thank you.
Good. Well, I appreciate the time. I just want to suggest from my perspective that, you know, we wouldn't save it just to save it. I mean, it has to work for us. And my thought is that it could do a lot more for us than it is now. I mean, you know, thank goodness for the jammers that have brought it along this far. But I mean, it really could be or should be the heart of the town in terms of many different activities and ceremonies. And, what if, we brought through, more entertainment that the township could enjoy. I mean, it's got the stage and the acoustics and so on, but, even information, educational things. I mean, it should get a lot more use than it's getting. And it has that thing that you just can't buy. I mean, as great as a new facility may be over attached to the arena, it'll never have the, the special quality of an older building like that old town hall has. And again, when you're trying to show up your community, that's the one that might be on the postcard, right? It won't be the arena, even if the arena is doing the hard work of looking after our community. We've got to make sure we got a balance of things that look great, that work for us, as well as the utilitarian aspect of it. So there's more than purely dollars and cents, but I think if you look at the big picture, it will be dollars and cents to the town if you have a nice facility like that will attract people and families and business. I mean, most towns have old stuff that they are looking after, that they point to, that are kind of the heart of the town that, people think about. So we got very little left in Havelock that isn't, cement block. We got to be very careful. We make a decision to let that go. What's left? You're going to have to work hard on those cement blocks to make it really look good and attract people and business.
And your comment about it being underutilized, I think that's a big thing. And unfortunately, over the years, that great old building, other than a few people that are here today for a delegation, unfortunately, all those good things that could have been used there it's not happened.
Yeah, well, and I think that's maybe something we need to look at, because there's no reason for it not to happen. I know as the Snowmobile Club, we go there once a month. I mean, when we were able to use it, I'd have to drive into town to get a key and then drive home and then drive back into town 2 hours later to use the place with the key and then return the key. I mean, we could never get a key. It's just awkward. So I don't know how other folks deal with the situation, but it's never been a administratively welcome experience to try to use the old town hall. But, we do the best we can. Anyways, again, thanks very much for your time. I don't want to tie you folks up because I know you have a big agenda today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Peter, and thank you for everything you had to say. Is there anything else from council here? If not, I'll take a motion to receive this delegation of Peter Johnson.
Motion to receive, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moved by Councillor Ellis, seconded by Councillor Webb. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, well, thank you, Peter, and thank you, Pat, and the jammers. We've taken notes here, and we'll see where things start to move forward here. Hopefully we can try and get people moving and get people doing the things that they need to do to get everything, to get their meetings in place and playing, the jammers get playing again. So, okay, that's all I have for listed delegations. Is there any, there's nobody else waiting in the wings here, Bianca?
No, there's not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to staff reports for information. We have a couple of staff reports or a few of them here for information. Is there any questions or around any of them? If not, I'll take a motion to receive them. Deputy Mayor Giroux.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, it's not really a question on the report, so I guess I better refrain from that.
Okay, well, I'll just go through them individually. If anybody has any questions, the first one was the incident summary from the fire chief for September. The next one was Safe Community Project 0. The next one was Brian Andrew with regards to the, his recreation facility update, department update. Go ahead, Barry. You're muted.
Through you, your worship, I see in the report that there's no figure skating this year. Minor hockey has a significant decline, and so is the recreational hockey got a significant decline. So is that gonna free up more hours, or is nobody interested in renting ice, or what's going on?
Okay, Ryan?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Certainly with the decline in numbers, you're gonna have more available rentable ice. So at this point, yes, to answer your question, yes, there's more rentable ice available now that the figure skating club is not operating and that minor hockey's reserving less hours per week.
Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, just a rebuttal. Is there any inquiries about renting ice? Or are they going to places closer to Peterborough, or?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councilor Clemmer's comment, we are still getting calls for rentals. So like as of right now, like it's typical to start out pretty slow, and then we usually pick up once we get the ice in. So it's only been about a month since we started the plant. It's been 2 weeks operating, so we're doing all right, even though the numbers are low. Just to get to the adult recreation stuff, like that was kind of unexpected. A lot of the rentals are declining, and it has a lot to do with the facility safety plans that are in place, and through meetings with other arena managers within Peterborough County, they're also seeing a decline as well. A lot of it has to do with the safety plans and the policies that are put in place, and a lot of people just can't meet those expectations right now, and aren't willing to go through that. So
Yeah, it's been a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Larry, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I was in arenas on the weekend. Each arena I went to, you had to sign in and show proof. Are we doing that there at the arena?
through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Ellis's comment, yeah, we have pre-screening. We have to have proof of identification and proof of double vaccinations to enter any recreation facilities if you're not participating over the age of 18. All that information is listed in that report so that you can see what our procedures are at the community center.
Yeah, we are documenting then, right?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we're required to document all that information if requested by Peterborough Public Health to hand over those records. So we maintain those records at the office.
Okay, in regards to the rentals, are we advertising?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yeah, we're advertising. We advertise in the rail. We advertise on their website. I've reached out to other local associations to let them know that we have available ice as well.
Okay, thank you, Ryan.
Okay. All right, Ryan, and yeah, with your report there, the rendering that you have of the Oak Street Park there, that's a good start. Hopefully we can get something moving there as far as being prepared for spring. Try and get some contractors on board, because we'll have to worry about the money in the budget there, but as part of the budget, we'll have to try and see what we can do so we can have somebody lined up early in the spring to it was a great design that you have there, great start. I see there's options in it too to expand a little bit. So thank you for getting that done. The picture's worth 1,000 words. So okay, and then the last item we have here is the closed session meeting summary. So if there's no other questions, I'll take a motion to receive the staff reports for information. Moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by, is there a seconder for that? Deputy Mayor Giroux, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, we have staff.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just one
Yep.
last quick question. Regarding the splash pad, it refers to grants and so on, which we all are aware of. But we budgeted for the splash pad regardless of the grant. So that is not going to be an issue regarding holding up any of the proposals, right?
Brian?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just to clarify, we don't have an approved budget at this time, as per council's direction. It is included under the budget that I submitted for 2022 for council's consideration. So when council gets together and meets through budget, that is included in 2020 projects.
Oh, thanks for the clarity. I thought it was included in last year's budget.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Ryan.
Okay, all right, but it's good to see that you've got the tender out there and back. We look forward to hearing the numbers there. Anyway, so we're going to move into staff reports for follow-up action here. And the first item here, Bob, is the Go Vax bus and the vaccination clinic going to be happening on Highway 7 on November 4th this week.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. The Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen has hosted 2 very successful vaccination clinics earlier this year. So a 3rd clinic is coming to the township this Thursday. The Go Vax bus is coming to the township. It will be here between 10 and 12:30. It will be parked along Highway 7 in the location previously used by the farmers market. So there will be entry exits there. Staff of the Public Works Department will be helping, placing out the traffic barrels. So we ask council and staff and everyone watching to help spread the word.
Yeah, and it is getting circulated, so that's good. Hopefully they get a good turnout and we keep things moving. Thank you, Bob. And that was just for information. So
Through you, Mayor Martin, if we could take a resolution to just help promote this event, that would be great.
okay, all right then. So I'll look for a motion to promote the Go Vax bus, moved by Councillor Pomeroy, seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux. Any questions or comments around that? All in favor? And that's carried. Our next item here is a reciprocal service agreement with Chief Billing Official. Who wants to speak to that then? Bob, do you want to?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, I will speak to this item. Staff, as council knows, and as per council request, staff is always on the lookout for efficiencies and opportunities to coordinate efforts with other townships. Our latest opportunity is in the area of building inspection. So we bring forth this reciprocal agreement with the Township of Duro-Dummer. And this is simply an effort to help each other when needed. So if we are short a building inspector, they will help us. And if they happen to be in a jam and get stuck and short, then we will help them.
Thank you. Okay, then. So we'll deal with that as a bylaw later in the meeting. Are there any questions around that? Go ahead, Councillor Ellis, then Deputy Mayor Giroux.
No questions, just a comment. A hats off to our CAO, Bob Angione, for successfully doing an efficiency strategy. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Ellis.
Okay, Dave, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Efficiencies are a wonderful thing, but I do have some questions here. This will in no way affect the ability of our bylaw or our CBO, particularly our chief billing official. We are busy. We all know that. They're going to hit 300 permits this year. So a reciprocal agreement is wonderful on paper, but I want a reassurance it's not going to tie our hands when somebody phones and says, oh, well, we need you up here.
Yep. Through you, Mayor Martin. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Giroux, for the question and to clarify. So the CAOs initiated the discussion The chief building officials from both municipalities were asked to have a discussion as well. And I want to assure council that the first priority is always the inspections in the township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. We will help our neighbors when they need it, if they need it, and when we can. Obviously, our first priority is to handle our own inspections. We will not allow our inspections to fall behind.
Go ahead, Dave.
Just to follow up to that, thank you, Bob, for that. I had to ask the question. So the next question is, our office staff that helps our CBO and our other building official, will they be involved?
Through you, Mayor Martin. No, requests will come through the chief building officials. They will receive the requests. If help is needed, then that's where the request will come through.
I'm not sure you answered my question. They will receive the request,
Sorry,
but
so-
will it involve any of our other staff to do paperwork for any other?
No,
for-
through you. Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin. The paperwork, the background paperwork is done by the municipality in which the inspection takes place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, then I'll get a motion to receive this, and we can deal with the bylaw at the end, or how do you want to deal with that one, Bob?
Through you, Mayor Martin, if we could just pass the resolution that's in the report, that would be great. And then, yes, we will deal with the bylaw.
Okay. So the recommendation is here. What's council's thoughts? Councilor Ellis,
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
moved by Councilor Ellis. Do I have a seconder? Is there a seconder? Councilor Webb. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. The next is defibrillator with the seniors. Sorry, yeah, Bob, you're on again.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. We have, Township has received a request from the Seniors Club to provide a defibrillator for their use at the seniors building. Our fire chief has sourced out a unit that he feels will be appropriate. In discussions with the fire chief and our treasurer, it is recommended and suggested to council that a donation be made to the Seniors Club, that they may purchase the defibrillator in their own name. And if council permits, the fire chief is prepared to provide some training.
Okay. All right, then. What's council's thoughts here? Councilor Ellis, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, council will recall a few months back, we had a discussion regarding this item for our seniors. Other municipalities have them mainly because of the age group that we're speaking to. And they've never had one there. They had no idea what they needed. And I would like to thank Chief Haynes for stepping forward, do some footwork, as well as CAO Bob Angione trying to find a suitable defibrillator for them. So that step has been taken place. The seniors have apparently about 6 people willing to step forward to take the training. And again, Chief Haynes has stepped forward, done the footwork to purchase something that's feasible for them, and will continue to support them with the training. We had this discussion prior and indicated that we would support them. I think there was 2 different places that we could take the money, one from the favorite account that Councillor Pomeroy refers to, as well as another one that Wendland has spoke to. But anyway, that's the long and the short of it. It's to this point now where council can approve if we want to support the seniors building people.
Okay, so the price for that is $1,972.76. That's everything?
I believe that's correct. Through you, CAO Bob.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, I believe that is the full price.
And where's that coming from?
Through you, Mayor Martin, I may have to call on Chief Haynes to help me with that one. He did source it.
I mean, the money, sorry.
Oh, the money. Okay. The money, as per the report, through you, Mayor Martin, the budget account is the council miscellaneous expense.
Okay. Is that Barry's fund? Okay. All right then. So, okay, go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, I think there was some discussion, Mr. Mayor, the last time that we did this, that I'm for it, don't get me wrong, but we didn't want to get any or have any liability. So would it be advisable to say that the fire chief is donating his time rather than implementing the township? Just through you, Bob, I know we've discussed this before, but I think that's what.
Through you, Mayor Martin, if council approves that the chief provide a training session, I do not believe it's required that he donate his time. But that would be council direction.
I think you just mean on the paperwork side of things, Barry, right? That it doesn't
Yeah,
have to
right.
be tied to it.
Yep.
Okay. All right, then, well, I would,
I'll make that motion.
okay, moved by Councillor Pomeroy that we approve this recommendation. And do I have a seconder?
Second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Ellis. All in favor of this motion? Oh, do you have a question there, Dave, or? Sorry,
Question, just a question on the motion. Here's another motion that we're putting forward without, it's been probably over a year since we've said we were going to have a policy on what we can donate and what per year. And here we go again. I'm not opposed to this and I'm going to vote in favor of it, but we still don't have our policy in place. We keep handing out gifts and I don't like it. We need to set that policy per year. Thank you.
thank you, Dave. Okay, so I'm going to call the question. Is there any other comments? Going to call the question. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, our next, just gets better here. The next one is the mandatory vaccination policy. I'll open that up. Bob, you've brought back a couple other options, which council asked you, along with the one that you brought to the last meeting. You know, we've had a lot of discussion on this and it's changing weekly. Things happened last week with the province. There's some more things changing, you know, as we roll out of this pandemic. So, you know, I'm going to open it up to council with the options there. You know, personally, I like option 3. And as far as the testing side of it, we heard some stuff this morning, and Bob's been working. He spent a lot of time on this. He's been working with all the other townships. We are the last township to deal with this. Everyone else has passed something, and unfortunately, they're all different. But for the most part, there's 2 different looks here, and one is maybe a little harder than the other. You know, a couple of municipalities went on the harder side of things, and some of the others have massaged it a little bit to try and make it workable. You know, so Bob, do you want to explain your report here?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. At the last council meeting, a mandatory vaccination policy was presented. At that time, council requested that options be brought back to council, which included testing options. So this report presents 3 options. As you indicated earlier, option 1 remains the same as the previous report, does not include a testing option. Options 2 and 3 do include testing options. Option 3 includes unlimited accommodation for testing with twice a week for rapid testing.
Unlimited, yeah. And that's something, that was the only part of that one that I had thought that it should have like a reviewed at, you know, the end of March or something like that. I don't like the unlimited end of it, but it sounds like things are going to change around the end of March. So I think it would only be fair to revisit it at the end of March to see where we're at then. But that's the only thing with the third option there that I would add to it, I guess, if council, but let's see what everyone thinks here. I'll open it up now. Who's first to discuss it? Okay. Councillor Webb, go ahead.
Well, so if nobody really wants to talk, I'll just go ahead and make a motion that we go with option 3. And I don't know how firm you are on, Mr. Mayor. I kind of like your idea of at least setting some kind of time limit on that, March, April, something to be reviewed instead of just indefinitely, but I'll leave that. I'll just move option 3. How about that? And we'll see how that goes. Just the way it is.
Okay, what's council, any other questions or comments? I'll take that as are you moving that? Are you moving it with the amendment?
No, I'm just, no, sorry.
As
Yeah,
it
no,
is?
just straight option 3, unlimited. We'll try that first and see how it
Okay.
goes.
All right then. So moved by Councillor Webb. I'll look for a seconder. Is there anybody wishing to second that option? Okay,
I'll second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
okay, it's seconded by Councillor Ellis. So the motion is on the floor, so speak to the motion. Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead. You're muted.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. It's all well and good, but I hope we can follow up so that we can get these tests done locally. Because if it don't, I don't know how some of our employees, you know, could get to Peterborough and get the shot, because you're gonna have to rearrange their work schedule.
And I think Bob has you know, like there is different options there, and like, you know, one of them that some are doing is they designate somebody within the township to do the test. It's basically to sign off that it was done. You just can't do it at home and say I did it and everything's
Yeah.
good. You have to have somebody to sign it, I think. Is that right, Bob?
Through you, Mayor Martin, just to clarify, so the options were presented prior to a response being received from the local pharmacy, from Guardian, which was received yesterday. So the policy as it's written now permits at-home testing with proof based on verification, the signing of an affidavit, a photograph, and a receipt to be included with the test. If our friends at the pharmacy are able to help us, those tests will be administered there, which will allow for a professional to oversee the test and verify the results.
Okay. All right, then, Councillor Ellis, go ahead.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, to CEO Bob, if we have that in place at the pharmacies, then that changes, does that change our policy then, allowing people to do the independent at home?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, it would direct people to the pharmacy to have it done there. Just a note for council, there will be a cost associated with that. Obviously, pharmacy staff, it's not free. So if we choose that option, there will be a cost involved.
So
But no cost if it's done at home, in other words, right?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
So how do you want to do this, Bob? If we go with, like, say, option 3, but we don't have that part of it nailed down, how do we deal with, because there's a couple different options within this option as far as how staff gets tested. So how do you want to deal with that part of it without bringing it back again, or does it have to come back?
No, through you, Mayor Martin, I think we will proceed with option 3 as it's written, as it's presented. As I said, the details regarding the pharmacy are not quite nailed down yet. We haven't quite worked out all those details. If and when we get to that point, we can certainly bring an amendment to council for council's consideration.
Okay, all right then. Okay, is there any other questions or comments around the motion? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Trudeau. You're muted.
I would like to hear the motion.
Okay. Bob, did you, is option 3, right? Just as it's
Yes.
written?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin. It's the motion moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Ellis, is that we adopt option 3 as the mandatory vaccination policy for the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. Option 3 includes an unlimited accommodation for rapid antigen testing twice per week. All the details listed in that policy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Unlimited. It's still in that.
Unlimited accommodation. That's correct.
Okay, Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead. You're muted. Shut up. There you go.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Further down in this policy, what is it? Recruitment of new staff members for positions left vacated by unvaccinated staff will begin in December, where indications have been made regarding reluctance to vaccinate. Is that all in the above?
Nope, through you, Mayor Martin. Obviously, if there's an unlimited accommodation for testing, that provision will not apply.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
That provision will only apply should testing, should an employee not comply with the testing as per the policy, then disciplinary measures will be taken.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Okay. Is there any other questions around the motion? If not, I'm going to call the question. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah,
I like the minutes to reflect that I was not in favor of that motion.
okay.
Yep, through you, Mayor Martin, we will make that notation. Thank you.
All right then. The next item on the agenda is the Old Town Hall. Bob?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So at the previous council meeting, at an earlier council meeting, a discussion did take place regarding Old Town Hall and the future of the Old Town Hall. Council requested that staff reach out to the user groups, and we did so. And earlier in this meeting, there was a discussion with the user groups. So that report is now brought back for council's consideration.
Okay, and yeah, so the one thing I would like to see here is today was like, we had some good information from some groups here. And I just think it's only fair to, we've done it with other things as far as I just wonder if we should do a survey here now that it's in the public light about Town Hall. You know, maybe we should be surveying the public to see what their thoughts are here, because like I say, there was some bad information came out before this report, and you know, now that it's all on the table and it's showing these reports, people will be able to make a more educated comments around what we need to do with this building. So I just wonder if that could have been a third option, Bob, to survey, and you have two options here.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, where staff is happy to accommodate any option that council chooses.
Okay. What's council's thoughts here? Deputy Mayor Giroux?
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Yeah, I agree with our mayor. I think there should be a survey go out. But I think all the pertinent information should be attached to that survey. It's not just a question of, do you want to keep the town hall or don't you? We can do anything the taxpayers want. They're the ones that have to pay for it. So they're the ones that really should know what it's going to cost to save the town hall or to refurbish the town hall.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Giroux. Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead.
Yeah, and the parking is another problem there. In today's standards, it don't work. It was nice back when the hall was built, you had horse and buggies, but and for the send out a questionnaire, I think, like I mentioned earlier, if you could invite people to an open house, say at the community center, and have some discussion on this also. It's not like Deputy Mayor Giroux said, like there's a lot of things that aren't getting out to them. And maybe if they did see the community center, maybe there's people that have never been in there. You know, maybe it changes their thoughts. I think I would be up for something like that rather than sending out a questionnaire, because a questionnaire is something like, oh, do you want this or do you not want it? And how many people will sign a petition that say no because Joe Brown said it's no good? So I think we should have a gathering there.
So we are getting close to that, I think, and that's a good point. You know, because even with the group that was on today, probably an in-person would be more widely attended by them than electronically. There's a few details to work out, but it is getting close that we can, you know, try and make something happen. There is protocols around that. If it's held in our building, they will have to be vaccinated. All those things are going to come into play in that sheet that Larry talked about signing in. So there's a lot of details to work out, but I think we're getting close that maybe that's the option, is that we hold a public meeting instead of a survey, or do both. It's you know, I don't know what council's thoughts are, but you know, that is something that probably could happen in the next couple of months, you know, as things ease up. So Councillor Ellis, go ahead, and then Councillor Webb.
Yeah, well, I think there's nothing wrong with everybody's thoughts here about having more consultations, public meetings. The long and the short of it is, we already know as a council the results that's going to happen with those meetings. We're going to hear more of the same we heard today, right? What I'd like to know, and I don't know how we would do it, we'd leave it up to the powers to be that has that expertise, but how do we get it out that the building probably is going to be for sale, and what kind of user groups or group that would be interested in purchasing the building for all the good things that was said today from, you know, Peter or Pat. It's a grand old building, but as a municipality to maintain it and own it, it's a very, very, very costly thing. So if the right people step forward to purchase the building, to utilize it as was indicated today from those two user groups, that's the direction I'd like to see go, because I know we can have more meetings, but we're going to hear the same thing that we heard this morning, and there's nothing wrong with what's being said, but it just makes council, we're just dragging it out where council has to make a decision. To keep it, the cost is staggering. We all know that, as to maintain it as a municipal building. But I'm wondering if and how we would do it so we could attract somebody that would say, yes, I would buy that building and maintain it and utilize it for all the things that was talked about this morning. I don't know, maybe I'm out to lunch here with that thought, but I just wanted to say it.
Yeah, and it just might be a little premature. Otherwise, you can go with option 2. And but as far as selling it, I'm not sure if you would get the support today to say, like when you say that we just sell the building or we're going to sell the building. I don't know if we're there yet. The discussion has just started, but you're right. This thing's been hanging around for so long, and that's one of the problems. So as a council, we're getting all these things brought out to the forefront, and I don't think we're going to let it go away this time. A decision will be made on this. We just got to make sure that it's that everyone's doing an educated, making an educated decision here. And yeah, at first blush, you're going to look at it and say, "Holy geez, $1.7 million," you know, and it's still not going to meet any standards or all the standards we need. Maybe it's not a good idea, but then you're going to hear the other side of it. So, as in the end, it's council's decision. So let's you know, let's see if we can get this thing moving. So
I guess what I was saying, Mr. Mayor, was that we maybe not decide today one way or the other on any of these options, but is there a way of doing what I suggested? That how can we find out if there is interest in from some group or some company that would be interested in buying it, and for the reasons that was stated today?
and I think that would be part of the discussion as part of this meeting. You know, I'm sure those people, now that you've said it, they probably will come out, you know, as, you know, part of that public meeting. Like maybe somebody's going to come and say, hey, you know, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to make it keep it as it is. And hopefully that's a part of the discussion. But right now we don't have that. So Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. What would happen if you said to the jammers, we'll give you the building, we'll give you the deed. It's yours. We can't afford to look after, you know, all of the different buildings. And it wouldn't cost them near as much to get up and going as it does the municipality, because we play by different rules. I don't know, it's just a thought. But at least it would be their building, they want it. And we would be free and clear of anything that goes on there.
So it's good discussion. And I think that's part of the stuff, like the things with this public meeting is I'm sure one of them options might pop up. And but I think for today's meeting, we have two options here, or we can make a motion that we hold a public meeting here in the near future and, you know, get all the information out there that we have and make sure that they realize it's not just a little mold and a few shingles need replaced. It's and a ramp. There's a whole bunch of things that this place needs. And as long as they all know that, I think it'll help as far as come up with a final decision here. And maybe it'll be one of the things that it used to have suggested. Maybe there'll be something totally different. But the big thing here is we don't want to let this go away. We have to deal with it. It's been around for a long time. And I think that was our idea here. So right now the public are talking, and I'm thinking they would come out to a public meeting. Councillor Ellis, one more thing, and then and if there's anybody else, we'll look for a motion.
I don't want to prolong this, but I think Councillor Pomeroy brings out a good point. Also, the fact that the amount of money that jammers have put into the old building over the years, so it'd be almost appropriate to make that offer, but I'll leave that for the decision of council. And the last comment I want to make is, and I've said this before, with the conditions of that building, we still have OPP officers that are sitting down in there below. And that, to me, needs to be addressed.
Okay. All right, then. So is there any other discussion, or I'll look for a motion here of what you would like to see? Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to see a public meeting and see the responses anyway. We owe the public this, and maybe we can come up with some ideas. I suggested here one that might be, it sounds off the cuff, but maybe, you know, they might go for it. You know, they use the building, they could rent it out to other groups or whatever. Anyway, we could carry on.
Okay, so do you want to make that a motion that we go with a public meeting?
Yep,
Okay, I'll look for a seconder for that. And, okay, seconded by Counselor Webb. And now I'll speak to the motion. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Giroux.
Speaking to the motion, the public meeting, as Councillor Ellis has suggested, will be one-sided. So, and they won't have all the pertinent information walking into the open public meeting. That the cost, what it's gonna, what the cost is gonna be to bring it back to standards. They won't have that night. So unless you do a survey with all the pertinent information and the costing, I don't see any point in having an open public meeting.
I think that would have to be a part of it, is that we get all the information out there to the public through whatever means we can, the same as a survey. We can do it as a survey also, but I think the main thing here, we got to get the information out so they know what they're talking about when they come there. I think you're right there, Deputy Mayor Giroux. So, Councillor Webb, go ahead.
Well, just to that, I don't, to get, if we're gonna have a public meeting, why couldn't we have a lot of, obviously, I guess it's quite extensive. There's probably close to 100 pages there, but the highlights of some of the pictures, costs to me can be put on an overhead or whatever, just as we do for some of our planning meetings at the rink, right? So there could be 4 or 5 things on a table and the public can come and look through it. The numbers and pictures of the damage and whatnot could be there. But what I would really like to hear from this meeting is, I guess it's, you guys have kind of thrown it around, is if we do fix it up, what's it going to be used for? And, you know, and if so, to Councillor Pomeroy's point, even if we build a, you know, a pass there, where's the parking? So I really need to hear answers to those questions, right? More than just let's fix it up or let's not fix it up and sell it. I'd like to, you know, hear maybe some different ideas. I've thought about it for a long time for myself, and yes, the building can be fixed up, I think, very nicely, but even if we do that, I don't know how you're going to find parking for more than 5 people to go in the building. So I think that really limits what you're going to do there. And I would like to, you know, maybe somebody in the community is creative in terms of what we could do in terms of parking or opening that building up, but I just haven't heard it as of yet.
So that would be a part of the public meeting, I would think. We got to have some slides there or something, Bob. I don't know. We'll leave it up to staff that we do a proper presentation with all the information. And in the meantime, we can get it out there on, you know, through social media, or, you know, have it at the counter if somebody wants to pick up the reports, and make sure they're educated when they come to the meeting, or they'll be educated when they leave the meeting of what's really involved here. And, you know, and I'm saying everything, not just the reports, but even the things that we need. Since that report was done, there's a lot of things have changed as far as accessibility. That's a huge thing with this building, you know, with the washrooms and things like that, and all the other things that have changed since this was done. It's just all, it's continuously changing. So we got to make sure everybody's educated. And I do think a public meeting will get those people that maybe don't read it on social media. They'll come out and hear it firsthand. But I think we could do a good job of getting the message out and helping us with our decision, because it's easy just to sit here and look at the number and say, you know, it's time to go. But I think we just need one more step here. Go ahead, Councillor Ellis.
Could we have the information on our website? So anybody that don't feel comfortable going to an open meeting, that's available for anybody that feels that way. And I agree with Councillor Deputy Mayor Giroux, comments regarding the meeting. Would that be an idea? I refer to CEO Bob. Anybody who wants all those details, it's available electronically.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So just for council's information, all of that information is currently on the website and has been posted on 2 occasions now through our agenda packages. However, we could highlight it in a different section and make note of this issue. But for anyone interested, all of the information that council has seen in all of those reports is now on the website on 2 different dates for 2 different agendas. But we will put it in another location.
Thank you, Bob. I'm just trying to draw attention to the fact that it is there some way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead and then we'll move on.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. If we, or whoever, fix the means of egress, which is the ramp and wooden ramp, because we have an order on it from our chief building official, if that was fixed, the remedial action, could they use the town hall again? Or do you have to go through the whole ball of wax? Because there's only one notice there and it's for the ramp.
Okay,
So if it could be put back in service, say we donated it to the jammers. I don't know,
yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't have to do all this other work.
and that's another question as far as the part about trying to get the jammers a place to play. I'm sure that question could come up. John's not in today, but
No.
that might be a question for our building inspector, and you know, that can come back to the next meeting, I'm sure, if you want to get that question out there. But for right now, the motion is that we hold a public meeting and we get all the information out there and make it an educated meeting. Possibly the video will be working by then too, so the people that don't feel comfortable going might be able to see it also. But let's see where this motion goes. So I have a mover and a seconder. Is there any other comments around this? I'll call a question. All in favor of the motion? Okay, so were you making a motion or adjusting the screen, Barry?
No, I'm agreeable here, but
Okay. All right. So that's carried. So we'll try and set up a public meeting here and make it as educational as possible. But in the meantime, I would suggest that you check into the ramp idea there. I had the same question. I don't know if it's just one thing there or you know, if there's a number of things. So, okay. All right, then we'll move on. Keeping time in mind here, the next item here is correspondence and one action item there. And this was discussed at County Council last week. It's something that they're trying to get automated speed enforcement program going. And some of this information is going to come back to the Amalgamated Police Service Board in the future. But there's a lot around it with community safety zones, and it's just something I don't know what the county wanted there. Bob, I think it's going to be the police service boards that make the decision. So I think it's just to receive it, right?
Through you, Mayor Martin, as per the covering email, it looks like we're being asked to support the recommendation in the county staff report, which includes the administrative monetary penalty system, as well as the automated speed enforcement.
Okay. The email was to Chris, you mean, or?
Correct.
Okay. So that would be for the police service boards though, right? To make the motion to support it, or?
No, through you, Mayor Martin, the email reads that this report be sent to the 8 lower tier municipalities requesting their support.
Okay. All right. I'm not seeing that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's the resolution in the email.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So I'll look for a resolution there. To either go ahead, Deputy Mayor Giroux, you're going to make that motion.
Move to support.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux, and do I have a seconder?
Second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Ellis. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, we do have some other items that were for information. If the one was around the bridge closure out there on Preston Road is extended to November 26th. And that's about it. Is there, other than that, and that's already circulated on our website, so I'll look for a motion to receive the correspondence for information. Okay, Deputy Mayor Giroux. You're moving that? Okay, and a seconder to receive the correspondence, the balance of the correspondence. Councillor Webb. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Okay. We'll move into, we don't have any written or oral notice of motions. So we'll move into committee liaison report. Sorry, I'm getting out of line here, but trying to catch up on the other screen. Okay, so first off here is the county report there. Dave, did you have anything there to, there wasn't a lot on there, but
there really wasn't a lot, thank you, Mr. Mayor. There wasn't really a lot on that pertained to HBM in particular. So I didn't jot too much stuff down. It was kind of a broad paint with a broad white brush, I guess, for the whole of the county. So the only thing we did know is that Burnt Dam Bridge is not going to be open in time, but we did get that notification. We did have a special meeting on last Friday, if you wanted to speak to that, Mr. Mayor, in regards to our numbers going forward in our official plan, but I don't know. The only thing pertained to that was the numbers for each PM on what were allotted for building, and our numbers are not correct anyway, so it's pretty convoluted.
yeah, so the big thing I think out of the county meeting last week was or 2 weeks ago, was Michelle Ferrari, our MP, was there. And at the end of her introduction, she did say that she's going to be questioning, she wants us to get out there through council and staff. We need to gather a list of our needs and wants, so she understands our community. So we will have to get that together. So if there's anything like, the thing that always comes to me is the via rail. I don't want to see that go off the tracks. And we have a few things here that we've been working on. So anyways, if you have anything, we can probably start gathering a list with Bob and make sure she knows the needs of our community. Our drainage issue at the other end of town, to help us with George Street. That's another thing that we wanted the federal government to help us. Hopefully she's a good lobbyer and she can work with as the opposite, being on the opposition will be a little different than we've had to deal with before. So anyways, yeah, there wasn't much came out of there. So I'll just move into the reports here for the individual reports. And the first reports we have here is Deputy Mayor Giroux's Eastern Trails. Oh, sorry, Bob, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. Just before we allow Deputy Mayor Giroux to make his remarks and presentations, I would like to inform council that I had the privilege of being invited to a small ceremony which honored Deputy Mayor Giroux for his many years of service at the Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance, and his great work there was recognized, and I just wanted council to know that.
Very good. He was hiding that. Okay, well, that's good. Congratulations, Dave. So we do have a number of reports here with the Trails Alliance. So and one set of minutes here, I think I see. So you have 2 verbals there.
Well, you have the minutes before you. I'd be happy to answer any questions pertaining to the minutes if I can. In regard to that, in regards to Bob's comments, I think I'd like to read, if it's okay with the mayor and members of council, under other business, that on our September 9th meeting, actually. I thought it would be a good idea to take a few minutes to reflect back on some of the board's accomplishments over the years. Doing this may help guide us into the future as well, reaffirming our commitments to the users of the trails in the future. We all know that Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance is a nonprofit organization, and we have a license of occupation for over 20 years for many portions of land throughout Ontario. And I give the board a brief rundown, particularly in the past. I can say that in the next 5 years, we're going to commit millions of dollars. That's our 5-year plan. So for your benefit and for the viewers' benefit and the board's benefit, I gave them a brief rundown since 2015. We partnered with the Trails, National Trails Coalition, and EOTA partnered for a total of $610,000 in that year. In 2017 and 18, we partnered with Rural Economic Development for $200,000 of gravel and grading through portions of the trails that needed that most repair. In February or March of 17 and 18, we were successful with the Canadian 150 Community Infrastructure Program. And we partnered for a total of almost 400,000 there, and it continues. I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version of how successful we've been. So I wanted to say to the board, to this board that I have served before, to say thank you to this board and the board that's we have served before. You have worked diligently for the users of the multi-use trail system and kept their best interests at heart. And I've always been very proud to represent our community of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen on the board over the years. When I joined the board back in 2006, Mr. Bill White, who was the representative of Trent Hills, was the board chair. And he chaired the board with passion and enthusiasm, always wanting to do the right thing for the users of the trails and for tourism. When Bill stepped away from the board, I assumed the gavel and I tried to follow his footsteps the best of my ability. It's been a privilege to represent my community and been a privilege to sit as your chair. But at this time, I'm going to ask our vice chair, Wayne Wiggins, who I know is more than capable of stepping into the chair and take over the duties. And I was thanked, as our CEO Bob has suggested. And I also said that our council, I was thankful that our council I will continue as their liaison for EOTA until for the rest of this term, at least. Who knows about next term, but anyway, and we will rely on the minutes from the EOTA. So I got myself out of a lot of work, and it paid off because I got a clock. So there you go. So thank you. Now, the other part of my report, I think I'll not take up too much time, but if it's in the same one, Councillor Ellis had a request from one of his constituents about the County Road 50 parking lot, and that there was garbage down there that needed to be picked up. And I want to give kudos to the local ATV club. Sometimes we're pounding the ATVers here. I think we've got some bad actors, but I want to give kudos to them. And I want to remind not only council, because I'm sure council is aware of it, but the public, that it's probably almost 15 years since the Drain brothers donated that property to the municipality. It's the municipality owned property. The only stipulation that Mr. Drain wanted, if we ever did anything other than a parking lot, that he would, the Drain Brothers would receive that property back, because we had a terrible safety problem parking on County Road 50. So the snowmobilers use it, the ATVers use it. People park there to go to work. We have dog walkers, snowmobilers, everybody uses it. But the ATV club and the snowmobile club and both levels of government, plus our own township, also provided money to create that parking lot. It's been the ATV club who took on the responsibility of maintaining it. They cut the grass and pick up the garbage the best they can. They clean the trails. So I just want to remind, it is a municipal parking lot. And they don't mind doing it. They're happy to do it because they really appreciate having that trailhead to get off the road. Now, I was sent that picture where somebody didn't like the grass cutting, so they spun their tires, but that was just an afterthought I thought council would enjoy looking at. So they don't mind doing it. And it's done. So there you go. Any other questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, Dave, just one question I had is I went by the parking lot in Northumberland down on 45, and I see they have a sign up that the trails are closed from November 1st to April 1st or whatever. I think it's similar to what our bylaw has. Is that for the trail, the EOTA trail too, for ATVs? Or I know within our township, that's what the bylaw reads. Just wondered, they have a huge sign up there that the trail's closed. Will we be doing the same?
Actually, we don't, how to explain this easily. Those trails are closed during the winter because that's not an EOTA trail.
Okay.
We help contribute and maintain that trail, but we don't class that as one of our trails. We have a gentleman's handshake with the Snowmobile Club that we try and keep all ATVs off the trails. But in reality, you do buy a 1-year permit.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I just wondered if it was a similar thing, but okay, well, we do have minutes here from the September 9th meeting. I'll take a motion to receive those minutes if there's no questions. Moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux. All in favor? And that's carried. Next, Councillor Webb, we have economic development meeting from the October 13th and minutes from the August 31st meeting. And then you have some Matheson minutes too. So
just quickly on economic development, as the rest of council knows, we've run through the $15,000 that we allotted for COVID relief. So that program has since ended. But I'd like to thank council for getting that money out to these businesses. It was very well received and much appreciated. I think other councillors have spoken with some of these business people, and it just came at a good time for a lot of these people to help them keep going. So the other thing on economic development was, I believe at the next meeting, we're bringing an update to the CIP for council to examine. So I won't get too into that, but I believe that'll be on the agenda for the next meeting. And Matheson property, pretty much in a holding pattern right now. We received Indigenous approval, but I guess there's more steps that we need to take. I see Ryan on here. Ryan, do you want to just fill in the rest of council kind of in terms of where we are now and maybe when some of the work from Drain will get started?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Webb's comments. Yeah, we did receive back a response from the Indigenous community. We have prepared a letter in response to that, and so the communication is ongoing there. And then with regards to work, as I mentioned before, we're
think you're freezing up, Ryan. I bet it was really good information. I hope it's just,
Yeah, so, well, I'll continue for him. Just basically, we had to write them a letter. They wrote us a letter back. They asked for $250, and then we had to write them another letter. So Ryan has since written that letter. But I guess we have to wait for a letter back from them before we can actually start digging in there. So that's the holdup. But Ryan has been on top of things, and like I said, I was hoping maybe he'd have a date or something, but it is a pretty fluid situation. So I just wanted council to know that this is moving forward, and hopefully here before the snow falls, you will see some work being done in there in the Matheson property. So.
okay. All right, thank you. So we have minutes there from the Economic Development, August 31st. I'll take a motion to receive those minutes. Moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Webb. Any questions around that? Council, all in favor? And that's carried. Okay, and with regards to the Matheson property, there was minutes there, and I know Councillor Ellis has it under his activity because he's on that committee too. So we can either deal with it now or get through Councillor Webb's. I'll get through Councillor Webb's, and then you can add to that, Larry, as far as so we have minutes from the Matheson property, August 16th. And we had a bit of a report there from Ryan, but we lost him. So I'll take a motion to receive those minutes if there's no questions around them. Moved by Councillor Webb. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Ellis. All in favor? And that's carried. And then next, Councillor Ellis, we'll go into your reports here, and you have some Matheson there too, but we'll start off with the cemetery board.
If you don't mind, through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll just jump back to the Matheson just shortly.
Okay.
Some of the indigenous stuff is around environmental things that we needed to comply to. That was one of the little hiccups there. And the other thing, at our last meeting, our parking lot has nothing to do with the indigenous holdup, and we had a discussion and give direction to Ryan to complete the parking lot. It's just needs grading up, but a lot of brushing in the outer circumference of the parking lot. So that's hopefully going to be done before freeze up as well. So that's just my last comments on the Matheson property. For my cemetery board, there's minutes from the summer meetings. Long and the short of it is just usually, or has been, general maintenance discussions around the barium seeding and so on. I would just like to note that also that for anybody that's interested, they have a purchase a tree program in memory of somebody, and it puts a nice little plaque with the tree of who it's been donated on behalf of. So that's still in place for general public information as well as council. And our last meeting in October, we discussed budget. The budget was accepted by the board. No increase, that'll come to Wendland anyway, but no increase to the municipality. The increases in wages were assumed by the income to the cemetery board. And I believe it was a 3% increase to those that get paid. They also had a good presentation from Mary Ellen Myers. She had given us information before, and I believe it was in the Havelock Rail. It's all regarding green burial. And for those that may not be totally familiar, it was new to me as well. Green burial is basically going back to the way things were done many years ago. The pluses of this is for the environment, you're not putting items in the ground that's not environmentally friendly. If you choose cremation, there is an environmental effect from cremation as well. So it's kind of wrapped around environmental. Because the way you're put in the ground, your green burial is a biodegradable type of a situation. There's no markers. It's in a park-like setting. We did go to the the graveyard, sorry, at Maple Grove after the meeting and looked at some areas there that would be acceptable to that. So that was kind of the long and the short of it. For those meetings, the minutes from the last one will come forward after they're approved. Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you. So we do have minutes there from the April 8th and June 24th meeting from the cemetery board. So we could receive them together. Bob, is that okay if they're all in order?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, that'd be fine.
Okay, so,
If there's no questions, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
okay, moved by Councillor Ellis that we approve the minutes from the 2 cemetery board meetings and seconded by Councillor Webb. Questions or comments? All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, then. So with mine there, you know, we did meet with Dave Smith last week, and there was some discussions around some of the protocols that are changing, and it's changing every week. So I don't know how he keeps up with it, but anyways, he did. There was some questions around the protesting that's happening outside the hospitals. They would like to see the province step in and stop those sort of things. It's causing a lot of problems for the people that are working there. And that opinion was voiced at our meeting last week, as well as the vaccine mandate. There was some discussion around it, and basically it was wishing that the province would do the same for everyone. But anyways, we're doing the best we can there. And his NICE campaign that he's doing, where he's got the sign up and going around to different places and just asking people to be nice. It's being well received, I guess. So he was reporting on that. And North Kawartha did talk about with some of the changes that are happening, that they're looking at a grant to set up their council chamber for hybrid meetings, similar to what Selwyn's doing, where it's got the kind of what we're looking for here as far as video and in person. Selwyn was saying they're gone back to in person. They can have 4 people in the hall in their council chamber. Theirs is a little bigger than ours. That's the biggest problem right now around in-person meetings. Is there's still some numbers there, but some of that's being relaxed as we speak. And you know, we'll get something going here. And you know, a bigger hall, like Barry said, is easier to manage with some of them numbers and the distancing things. So other than that, there was nothing from him. I did have a police service board meeting last week, and we did have a visitor there. Dwight Peer, who was the chief superintendent of the OPP, came and gave us an update. It was a good update on what he's trying to do, and I think some of the things are things that we talked about. But the minutes will come out for that, I would think, in the near future. I do have minutes here from a police service board meeting July 26th. Is there any questions around them? Or if not, I'll take a motion to receive them. Councillor Ellis, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we've had this topic a few times at council where, and I'll refer back to our Matheson property. And I was wondering if that had been a discussion at your last one and what the OPP are proposing to do to support the issue.
So it was reported at the meeting that we would like to see more enforcement happening up around there. We'll see how that goes forward as far as notes were taken, and you know, hopefully, I haven't got the minutes for that right now, but it was brought up, and they're supposed to look at that as far as trying to do more enforcement. But the ATVs do cause a problem. But anyways, it was brought up, and hopefully we see some changes happening. Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. On the same topic, we can't enforce the law there if there's no signs. You know, our own bylaw enforcement officer, you know, has looked into it, and there's no signage there saying no ATVs. And I think we asked for that quite a while ago, and there's no entrance sign for the property neither, like where the trail starts. And I think we should be, permitted there because it is private property and on both ends. So in order to get the police to do anything, we're gonna have to maybe get some signage up. We have been asking for it for a while and it's still not there, so they can't enforce what isn't posted.
Yeah, and some of the other things that came out there around that is there's nobody phoning in either to say there's a problem. He did give us the numbers of how many have reported problems there, and there was only about 2 or 3 people that had phoned in about it. So that was another.
Just to that point, Jim, not to get whatever, but we've been talking about this for years. So I really don't like hearing, oh, they haven't phoned in, they haven't phoned. They can watch our council meetings for the last 2 years. We talk about it every meeting. So this nonsense of like, what do they need? 15? How many phone calls do they need before they do something?
They do go there, is what they're saying is they do go there. But if you request, if council wants them to sit there all day, we can do that.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on in the rest of town.
That's
where the laws are being broken. So.
Well, our policing contract came out last week, and if we want to pay someone to sit there for the daily, that's fine. We can request that. I did say, I wonder if our numbers are out. All the townships are complaining the same thing, that they keep saying the numbers are going up with population, but do we have enough policing to do it? Okay, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, well, I see them every day. So what kind of police work needs 2 policemen to park next to each other for 45 minutes to an hour at a time? Because that's what happens along the highway every day in this town.
I've said it before. I suggest council calls Chris Galeazza and gets an explanation. I can't keep relaying it. Dave does come to the police service board meetings and ask questions. Phone Chris and get firsthand what they're doing.
Okay.
You can't just keep complaining here. You got to do your part as a council. Phone the OPP and tell them what you're thinking. They need to hear it. I'm doing my part to tell them in the police services, but you need to speak to them firsthand and let them explain it to you. So, because I'm obviously not explaining it well enough.
Okay.
Okay, Councillor Ellis, go ahead.
Yeah, and I would like to thank Council Pomeroy for bringing that forward. I intended to do it under our Matheson property committee report regarding the signage. We talked about signage quite some time ago, and you're right, it's not up. In regards to the OPP, in previous councils, we used to have periodically an OPP come to our council meeting. Would that be a possibility to request somebody from the OPP come to our council meeting so he can hear firsthand what we're repeating every council meeting?
Yeah, I think you can make a motion here today that you would like to see Chris or whoever's the chief at the time. Right now, he's the acting. If you wanted to request it, we can make a motion here today to ask the OPP to come and be a part of our delegation.
Well, I would make that motion, Mr. Mayor, and whether it's a top dog or not, whether it needs to be somebody from the OPP that will report back and put some kind of an action plan in place to support our issue there at the Matheson property alone.
Okay.
And so I would make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so Councillor Ellis has made a motion that we ask the OPP to do a delegation to a future meeting here as soon as possible. Councillor Pomeroy, you're seconding that?
Yep.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, so next
Yo,
go ahead.
further to our discussion there, if there's no signage up, can the police enforce it? We should have it. We should have the signage up so we have a little bit of meat anyway for them to act on. I mean, if there's no signage and they say, well, it's beyond our control or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's get them up. And I mean, like, there's not even a sign at the end of the trail there saying, you know, Matheson Trail or anything on either end. And we were supposed to get them a long time ago.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Giroux, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I will check again today, but I was positive, unless somebody has taken the sign down, that the gate is closed where our public works has cleaned up that corner lot across the road from our water tower, and there was a sign there, no ATVs. So maybe it's disappeared, but I was sure there was one there. The club put one on there. So
Yeah.
I'll double check that.
So we'll leave it for when they do come and visit. That's a good question for them. I do know they have it in their cards on our bylaws in there, so they know our bylaw probably better than we do. You know, there's some good questions here, needs to come out, and hopefully we can get them here as soon as possible. Okay, Councillor Ellis, final.
Yeah, just very shortly, if I don't see Ryan on the screen here, but maybe we can ask our Parks Manager, Ryan, to check, and if they're not up, we should have them up for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. We'll time's running out here, so we do have a lot left, so we'll move on to the next item here. And that's new business. There's a few things under new business here that were listed. Councillor Ellis, I'll start off with you as far as the defibrillator purchase. We just dealt with that. You're muted.
We've already dealt with the defibrillator. So I asked just for a quick report on our advertisement for a planner. And I was wondering if Bob could just quickly comment on that. If the posting is down,
Yeah,
go
Yeah,
ahead.
Through you, Mayor Martin. Thank you, Councillor Ellis, for the question. The competition for the planner position closes this coming Friday. We have received some applications. There are resumes there. They're still being reviewed. I'm told there's at least one or two strong candidates in the group, but that competition closes this Friday.
Okay, the posting, did that include, I'm trying to remember from seeing it, did it include economic development? Or just planner?
No, through you, Mayor Martin. It was listed as a planner with all the proper credentials, or without the credentials, a planning assistant. Included in those roles, there is an economic development portion in the job.
Okay. So the other part of what I had requested here on this council meeting was a discussion regarding economic development. If we're not going to be successful with getting a candidate with both credentials, council's thoughts regarding either a full-time or a temporary position as economic development. You can call it municipal coordinator. It's somebody to work on behalf of the municipality to promote and improve our municipality. In the past years ago, we would have had an economic development person, but this would be more of a focus on developing business and other items that promote our municipality. Not just, looking after ordering flowers and so on. We need that person in place there. And so I put that on the agenda for council's discussion. I think it would be something that would fit into our staff, take some of the work away from some of the staff that's trying to do it now because we don't have anybody. So I put that on the agenda for council's discussion to see how they felt about that. And we can go from there. So that's why it's there.
Okay, thank you. And I totally agree with you, Councillor Ellis, that it is something that we have a bit of a hole there to fill. Maybe the planner part of it will help in that position. You know, if we can get something nailed down there, but in the meantime, yeah, we do have some areas there that we need some help in and help. I think it would help Bob in the end with some of the other duties that he has. What's council's thoughts here on municipal development coordinator? Or I don't know whether this is the place to talk about it, but it's just it's there, and it's you know, it'd be good to know what council's feeling. Deputy Mayor Giroux and then Councillor Webb.
If council has a mind to go this direction, I think that would be talks for our next budget meetings.
Okay. Okay. Councillor Webb.
Yeah, I agree with Deputy Mayor Giroux, and I'd kind of like to see in terms of what the job description in terms of, like, I understand, I've heard, you know, community planning or whatnot, but are they going to be focused on working with local businesses? Or are they going to be focused on looking at bringing development out? Just basically what's the job going to entail, right? But no, I like the idea, and to Larry's point too, we do have a few people in the office that are doing 2 and 3 jobs at the moment, so this might provide a little bit of relief. So
Yeah, and you must be on the same line as Ryan with the feed for your internet, because it's kind of broken. I keep thinking it's my computer freezing, but I think there's a pattern here. So anyways, okay, well, thank you for the input, and I don't know whether that helps Councillor Ellis, but I think it will be a discussion around budget. But
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it was just to generate discussion to see what council's thoughts were. I think we're lacking big time there. And it's to take some of the workload off people that are trying to fill in presently. So again, yes, it would have to be a budget item, but it's something that needs some planning before we even get there, because of job description, as Councillor Webb has stated, what all we want involved in that position.
okay,
Thank you.
all right then. Well, thank you. Next on the list there was Deputy Mayor Giroux with regards to the County Road 50 parking lot, and I don't know whether we talked about it already, Dave, or.
Yeah, I kind of threw that in with my EOTA. It kind of fits together. The other thing that I was asked through Councillor Pomeroy last week, I said I would look into was any communications between EOTA, Peterborough County over the Burnt Dam Bridge. And I tried to get a hold of Peter Johnson last week. I know I had him on Zoom today, but that wasn't the proper place to talk about it. That's what wasn't on the agenda. So I haven't got an answer whether the Snowmobile Club has been involved in it or not, but our local ATV club has not been involved in it. So I don't know, Barry, whether the county has reached out or not. I'll try and get a hold of somebody from the county again this week. Perhaps they can tell me. That's
Okay.
all I have.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Anyways, we'll, that we did have a little bit of discussion, and I think the Snowmobile Club has been involved a little bit through correspondence, but I'm not 100% sure, so.
Thanks for
okay.
that information, Dave.
Okay, and then mine there, the overflow parking at Fox Lake, I think that's old. That was something with regards to the boat launch and parking there, and we did have some issues with camping in there, and I think it was taken care of. I think that might be, I don't know whether it was the overflow or a sign no camping at the library, because we did have an issue on the long weekend with a camper set up in there. And I think that's what that might be. I'm not sure, Bob, it's how long it's been on there, but I don't think it was overflow. I think we dealt with that already. It was more around camping at the library, the last I remember. So we can deal with that in the future. Just with the time here, we'll put that into our plan for the future as far as no camping at any of our libraries. That's the first I've ever had that, getting a call on the weekend around camping at the library. So anyway, maybe there was a good book coming out and they wanted to be first in line. So I don't know. Anyways, so we have one, go ahead, Councillor Webb.
Yeah, sorry, Jim. I just had one other thing to add. I know we got an email this week about delegations for good roads. And I was just wondering if were we gonna have a discussion in terms of that later, or?
We should have, for those that are going to good roads, we should have a, you know, if you have any, if you want to make a delegation there, should start putting your heads around it as far as any questions around whether it's Highway 7 or whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll just do that. If we're gonna do it, I was gonna just do it now for the MNRs. I think we have a few issues there. Fish Hatchery Road, the illegal camping and Airbnb.
good. Okay,
I'm sure there's probably a couple more if I think about it, but I'd like to make sure we get them for sure.
I'm not sure if M&R is at good roads.
Okay,
But,
So-
but it's worth putting it in there, put the questions there and see who's gonna be there doing the delegations. I'm sure there will be. It's kind of not like the same as Roma.
Okay.
But anyways, have you got them noted down, Bob? You made note of the,
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, we have made note of that. Thank you.
okay. And we haven't got the report on who's gonna be there or what kind of setup it's gonna be, but that's, yeah, we should start thinking that way now if anybody's going to good roads. You know, it's an opportunity hopefully to get in touch with the right people. So make a list each meeting maybe, or bring it back to the next meeting anyways, if there's any other ones. Still have a bit of time. So, okay, is there any other new business? If not, I'll take a motion to receive all the updates there that came out of it.
Motion to receive, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Counselor Ellis, seconded by Counselor Webb. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, we have one bylaw here, or two bylaws, I guess it is a bylaw. And it was kind of taken care of in that motion, I think, Bob, but do you want a separate motion here for the agreement with Duro Dummer?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, we do need a separate motion, please.
Okay. A motion to approve the bylaw with Duro Dummer with the reciprocating bylaw, moved by Counselor Pomeroy, seconded by Counselor Webb. All in favor? And that's carried. And the next one is to appoint Matthew DeJong as Chief Building Official and Inspector for the Township. Deputy Chief Building Inspector for the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. Moved by Counselor Webb. Do I have a seconder for that one? Counselor Pomeroy. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Okay, next I'll be looking for the confirming bylaw.
So moved.
Today's meeting, moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux, seconder, Counselor Webb, all in favor, and that's carried. And the motion to adjourn this meeting before we go to the closed meeting is moved by Counselor Pomeroy to adjourn and seconded by Counselor Ellis, all in favor, and that's carried.